What's up guys, this is Demkeys and this is part 2 of the Unity Tilemap series. If you haven't already watched part 1, I encourage you to go and watch it. The link should be up on the screen right now and in the description down below. That being said, let's begin. Alright, now so far we've been using the painting tools to paint tiles in our palette. Now that you know how to use the painting tools, let's try painting tiles onto the tile map. First, bring the tile palette window down here. This is just so that we can see the scene. The tile palette is a little small now, but that's not an issue. Next, select My Tilemap 01 and make a duplicate of it. Rename the duplicate to Sky Tilemap. Next, make sure Active Tilemap is set to Sky Tilemap. And now all we need to do is select a tile from the palette to paint onto our tile map. But real quick, I want to mention something. When the palette is not in edit mode, if you click on any of the tiles, you are basically selecting a tile using the pick tool. If you hold down your left mouse button, you'll notice that the pick tool gets activated and remains active until you let go of the mouse button. This is basically an easier method to select tiles. So in this case, you don't necessarily need to hold down Control to select tiles. And of course, since this is the pick tool, you can either select one tile or multiple tiles. So select the cyan tile and let's try creating a small patch here because I want to show you how you can get creative with the tiles. Then select the white tile and just paint one line within this cyan patch. Then select this entire patch. If you watched part 1 of this series, you should already know how to do this. And now when you try painting this, you'll notice this interesting effect. Alright, now erase all this and let's try creating something that actually resembles a level. So again, select the cyan tile and make sure the active tile map is set to Sky Tilemap because we want to draw on the Sky tile map. Then go into the scene, switch to the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle of cyan tiles. So now we have a sky. Let's add some clouds too. Select the white tile and draw 3 outlines for clouds. Then switch to the fill tool to fill in the clouds. Now remember, because of how the fill tool works, if your mouse cursor isn't inside one of the outlines and is instead in an open area, this will happen. Remember, it's just showing you what the final result will look like. So fill in the clouds, then switch to the paint tool, and now let's paint some platforms. Instead of painting the platforms onto the Sky tile map, we're going to paint the platforms onto My Tilemap 01. Change the active tile map to My Tilemap 01, then select this tile right here and just paint a small mess of tiles over here. Now at this point I want to mention that it's important to maintain some sort of sorting order between the tile maps. So for example, Sky Tilemap's position is 0 on the z-axis, so My Tilemap 01's position shouldn't be 0. It should be something more or less than that. So in My Tilemap 01, if you set the position to 1 on z, it will be behind the Sky Tilemap game object, and if you set it to -1, it is now in front of the Sky Tilemap game object. And as you can see, suddenly these new tiles have appeared now. The reason is, earlier when I drew these tiles onto the tile map, because of the Z position, we weren't able to see them. Alternatively, you can also change the sorting layer and order in layer values, but in our case, just changing the Z position is more than enough. So erase this mess, and now let's draw some platforms. Select this tile again, and then using the rectangle tool, you can draw one platform, and then Control select this platform, and now you can paint multiple platforms onto the tile map. Now at this point, try to Control select any tiles other than the tiles that are on this tile map. So for example, these clouds, you cannot. The reason is that these tiles are not on the active tile map. You can only select tiles that are either on the active palette or on the active tile map. So since there can be multiple tile maps in the scene, how do we know exactly which tiles are on the active tile map? This is where the focus on option comes in. That is this option right here. It is currently set to none. If you set it to tile map, it'll focus on the tiles that are on the active tile map, and you can see that here. So if I change the active tile map to Sky tile map, then Sky tile map's tiles will be in focus. Change it back to My Tilemap 01. Now if I set focus on to grid, it'll focus on all the tiles of all the tile maps that are within the grid that contains the active tile map, and you can see that here as well. Active tile map is set to My Tilemap 01, and My Tilemap 01 is a child of this grid game object. So currently all the tiles of all the tile maps within this grid game object are in focus. Alright, so I know this video is kind of short, but I'm going to end the video here. I hope this video is helpful. If you want to check out the next video in this series, the link should be up on the screen right now. If you want to check out Glowing Dude's series and learn how he made the art assets, the link to his series should be up on the screen right now as well. I'm also accepting donations, so if you want to help me out, my PayPal email address should be up on the screen and in the description down below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.